Welcome to our newest interview series on the Queen Sports Network, Inside the Lions Den. I am Maya Forbes here with Avian Thompson from the field hockey team. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I'm just going to start by asking you to tell me a little bit about your athletic journey so far at Queens.
So last year I transferred from a different school. My freshman year, I went to St. Francis back home in Pennsylvania. And so I transferred in last year to Queens. Pretty much the season went pretty well. I ended up getting an All-American at the end of the season, which was a pretty big accomplishment for me, just coming into a new team, new dynamic, different playing type, and yeah.
Okay, well, congratulations on your title. Um, Describe how it felt when you heard that your season was canceled this fall.
Um, it kind of sucked just because like our team has built such a good connection with such a strong group of girls. So it kind of just hurt a little bit just that we won't really get to play together in the fall. They gave us our spring season, but it's going to be a different dynamic just because different weather. Spring season for a lot of people decide to use their hardest classes because they're not in season, so they try and do more classes in the spring. So I think it's going to be definitely a challenge for everyone, just because we will be playing, but with school and with playing less games and everything, it'll be different. And the seniors, it's going to be, some of them, it might be their last time to really play with us, and the fall is really when everyone wants to play. So it definitely was kind of heartbreaking, but I think our team will get through it just because we're so close.
Yeah, I can't agree with that. I understand how you feel. So you're from Pennsylvania. Can you tell me a little bit about where you're from and if you had any resources that helped you stay active during quarantine?
So yeah, I'm from Hershey, Pennsylvania. I live about 5 minutes from the park and the chocolate factory. With Pennsylvania being in the north and this is the south, a lot of the things were different with opening up and different governors and stuff like that. So while I was home, when I first went home, it was pretty strict. Everything was closed. You really could only go to the grocery store, maybe get like gas. That was pretty much the only thing you could do. Um, and so as COVID progressed, once about May came, they started, letting up on some of the rules, and then June came and July, and it started easing up. So when I left, my specific county was in the green phase, and a lot of Pennsylvania was in the green, which comparison to North Carolina, that's like phase 3 of what we're in now. So it was kind of hard to do workouts and stuff while I was home because gyms are closed and everything. And our turfs ended up finally getting closed, and they were saying they were going to open them, but there was only one school nearby that really had an open turf, and then about May, June, they ended up closing it. So it was hard to do workouts, but I just kind of ran around my neighborhood. Me and my best friend, who's a soccer player at Drexel, we kind of just met up with each other when we could and just went on hikes and did other activities that could count as exercising and could count as me, trying to prepare myself in hopes that we would have a fall season. But yeah.
Okay, now are you in Charlotte right now?
I am in Charlotte.
Okay, so what does your everyday schedule look like?
So with being in Charlotte and I'm in an apartment now, I was planning on being on campus. And then I decided to live in Charlotte just because I was not necessarily tired of being at home, but I just wanted to be down here when, a lot of teammates and other athletes were planning on moving down here. I just wanted to be able to be in like my independent setting instead of, just being at home. So moved down here. What was the question? I think I just.
What does your everyday schedule look like?
Okay, yeah. So moving down here, I transferred my one job, well, both my jobs. So back home, I was working at UPS So I was just helping out. My dad works for UPS, so he kind of got me the job in there. And I transferred it here. So now I've moved up and I'm a supervisor for UPS. So currently, since I've been still like training and we just opened a new building, I've been working like 1 a.m. to like 8 a.m., which is really crazy. And I don't really like it. But my set schedule is supposed to be about like 10 to 3 a.m., 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. So hopefully that starts next week. And then I also transferred my Under Armour job down here too. So pretty much for me, it's wake up, go to class, try and figure out, to do some type of work in the middle of the day, um, make dinner, make lunch, stuff like that. Really go to bed as early as I can. I'm not very much of a early sleeper, so it's kind of hard. But go to bed as early as I can. Wake up for work at about 12:30 or whatever time I have to go in. Um, Go to work, pretty much at work all day, and repeat the schedule. Go to sleep, wake up for class. Schedule just keeps continuing.
So, how is balancing your full schedule and preparing for the season been for you? How's that been?
It's been kind of hard right now just because of working so much, and I haven't really been able to go to a lot of like our team likes to do. Like, we're gonna go to the small field, maybe do some running, or we're gonna do this at 7 a.m. and so that everyone's day can just start off on a good note. But I haven't really been able to attend them, which kind of sucks. But I've been trying to go to the gym since they're open down here. I started off pretty well in the beginning of the semester, but with work, it's been kind of tight. So trying to find time to just be a little bit active and still go to work has been kind of difficult. But now that I'm on a schedule, I've kind of now know when I can go to the gym, say I can go to the gym after class for about an hour and then make dinner, go to bed, stuff like that.
But I noticed that you mentioned that your team is doing some type of workouts on their own little individual groups here and there. So can you tell me anything else that the team is doing to prepare for the season?
I think everyone's really just, doing their individual stuff specifically. But since strength and conditioning, that division of campus has started doing like early morning optional conditioning. So I know a couple of our teammates have been going to that. Sometimes someone will send a text since our field is technically like a public field. Um, some people are like, "Oh, let's go hit around," stuff like that in our group chat. So some of us are able to attend there, and I think everyone's really just trying to figure out how to do their own stuff right now. Once like school ends and it's not so heavy, I always think October is like the worst month for school because you got all these tests jam packed in, and everyone's trying to do stuff before we go home for Thanksgiving. So I always think October is the worst time of the year. But I think towards the end of October and beginning of November when we start doing finals and more midterms and stuff, I think everyone will have more time to really dedicate in their day to doing some type of physical activity to help prepare for the season. Um, and since we're ending a little bit earlier and we have this big break from the end of November to January, I think a lot of us will really take that, 2.5 months, 1.5 months to really prepare ourselves coming in for the spring.
How do you think the team will do after being away for so long? How do you think that the team will mesh together for the season since he hasn't been all together playing on the field?
I think from a first start, it'll be, kind of frustrating just because we haven't really played together since last spring and we got sent home before we ever got to do actual games, our spring games. So I think it'll be a little frustrating at first. Everyone will be a little rusty. You can only do so much stick skills and, work by yourself before, you go back to your team and you really got to mend together. And, we have incoming freshmen that no one has ever played with. And, they have to learn how we play. So, it'll be a little rocky at first, but our team chemistry and, like, the trust that we have in each other and our coaches and stuff is really strong. So I think we'll be able to overcome these certain adversities that we have due to not being able to play together for so long.
Now, you are the goalkeeper for the team. How has it been trying to train for that position without having everybody all together?
It's hard because I don't really get shots, so I haven't gotten any shots off to really, block or anything like that. But earlier and during COVID, coach sent us out like these bands and the long ones and the short ones that you wrap around your leg. So while I was home, I was doing a lot of those, just really trying to. I also bought a ladder off of Amazon, so really just trying to keep my footwork and just my legs still somewhat strong enough so that when we do go into practice, it's not like I have to kind of start from the basics and work my way up. I've kind of just tried to do a little stuff here and there to just keep my legs still in a still in decent shape, I guess, for the season.
Now, do you have any advice for any incoming freshmen?
Advice for incoming freshmen. I think just really my advice, just with what's going on in the world today, I think just don't be afraid to one, speak your opinions because everyone's like, oh, freshman, like you don't have a place. You're not allowed to say anything. Like this is how we do stuff. This is how it gets done. I think, if you see a different aspect in your sport or in your club or whatever you join, I think don't be afraid to speak your opinion because your opinion or, something that you've learned from high school could be totally different and could help out your team or your friends or your clubs in different ways. So I just think coming in as a freshman is very intimidating, but I think just being true to who you are and, not being afraid to speak your mind and, make opinions and statements and being able to really learn from your upperclassmen because they have been here for so long. So, they know how the program is, they know what they're doing, but I just think don't be afraid to be able to add a little new flair, the little like young um, aspects to the team or to whatever it is that you do.
So we've come to the end of the interview, but my last question for you is, what does your pre-game meal look?
Say that again.
What does your pre-game meal look like?
Pre-game meal. Um,
Have a go-to meal, or do you switch it up?
it's I have switched it up in the past. I think just back in high school we only had night games, so it was kind of more of just like eating throughout the day, light and right. But now here, at Queens, we just got lights, so hopefully we'll have more night games this year. But we were having a lot of like day or like mid lunch games, so mine was just really making sure I was going to bed at a good time and eating a good dinner the day before, just nothing too heavy, um, but nothing that was too light either where I was super hungry the next morning and kind of just waking up, going to breakfast, getting, all of my traits in carbs, a little bit of fruits, some sugars, some salts and stuff like that. Before the game was really mine's kind of different. I don't have like a set like every day I wake up eat this. Mine's kind of whatever I got and whatever seems like appealing and that's not too heavy before the game is pretty much how I go about my pregame meal.
Well, thank you for sitting down and talking to me today.
Yeah, thank you.